Hi there, today I'm going to show you how I created this little treat box. Now I've sized this one to fit two of our little Ferrero Rocher chocolates. You can get two of these little boxes out of our standard A4 sheet of cardstock. You can also make two of them from the US standard size cardstock, 8.5 by 11. So let's get started. You'll need your scoreboard to start off with, and a piece of cardstock that measures 6 7/8 inches by 5.5 inches. Now in metric that's 17.5 centimetres by 14 centimetres. Place it in your scoreboard so the long side is across the top, and you will score down at 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/8 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 4 1/8 of an inch, 5.5, and 6 1/8. Okay, now again in metric that's 2 centimetres, 3.5 centimetres, 7 centimetres, 10.5 centimetres, 14 centimetres, and 15.5 centimetres. Once you've done that, if you give it a quarter turn, so you've got the short side running along the top, and you want to score down at 1 3/8 and 4 1/8. Okay, in metric that's 3.5 centimetres and 10.5 centimetres. Once the scoring's complete, we need to remove some of these sections that we've created. On each corner you have two rectangular sections, and these need to be cut away. So just cut along the scored lines to remove them. There we go. Once you've done that, you want to create 3 tabs on each of the side sections. So again, to do that, just cut up the scored lines. There we go. So you've now got 3 tabs on each side. Now the middle tab, if you reduce the size of that by about half, and then also if you slant cut the sides of it, that way when you start putting the box together, it'll ensure that you don't get bits sticking out where you don't want them. There we go. Right, the next thing to do is just to round off our 4 corners that will form the top of our box. So we use the corner rounder to do that, our new Project Life one. Make sure it's fully inserted into that angle before you punch, and then you'll get a nice clean cut. Okay, I've just got a little bit on there I want to get rid of. It's difficult to see in this light where the score lines are. Right then, the next thing to do is just to crease all the score lines with our bone folder. So we make them nice and crisp. Now the first and the last scored line need to be creased in the opposite way to all the others, and they'll form the top section of the box. Okay, so you can see how this is going to come together once the sides are stuck down. Okay, now we need to mark the holes for our ribbon before we start sticking. So I'm going to mark these just in that first scored section, halfway up and about half an inch, which is about a centimetre in from the side edge. Okay, then if you hold the two pieces together and punch them together, then that'll ensure that they're the same on both sides. Okay, make sure they don't move out. There we go. Now we can stick the box together. So with the inside upwards, we want to apply the glue on these little half tabs to start off with. Okay, now that can be stuck to the adjacent square tab. It doesn't matter which one you do. Makes no difference. So just stick it onto the outside of the square tab and then do the opposite end. So glue on the inside of that tab, and then we're going to stick it to the outside of the larger tab. Okay, then once that's done, we can apply glue to the remaining tab, again on the inside, and then we stick it to the outside again of the other section. That way it covers that little half tab. It's got its sandwich between the two square tabs. Okay, which means that your box on the inside is just as neat as on the outside. So our last one, glue on the inside section and stick that onto the outside of the one we've already done. Okay, and then that's our little box finished. We just need to decorate it. Now we can put our chocolates inside. Whoops. There we go. And I've got some of our Daffodil Delight cotton ribbon, which is some of our new ribbon in the annual catalogue. This measures 14 inches, which is about 34-35 centimetres, I think. And we're going to thread that through front to back and round back to the front. Make sure it's not twisted, and then tie that into a bow. There we go. I kept the decoration on the original box very simple. I've used an image from one of our hostess sets called Bloom with Hope, and I've stamped the image using black Memento ink, and then I coloured it using some of our Coastal Cabana and Daffodil Delight blendability markers. Now for this box, I've already prepared my image. Again, it was stamped on Whisper White cardstock using Memento black ink, and this time I've coloured it with our Daffodil Delight blendability markers, and I've also used a couple of our pumpkin pie blendability markers. You need two mats for layering. The Daffodil Delight mat measures 2 5/8 inches by 1 1/4 inches. In metric, that's 6.5 centimetres by 3 centimetres. And a white mat, this one measures 2 3/8 inches by 1 inch. and again in metric that's 6 centimetres by 2.5 centimetres. This one I've also run through the Big Shot using our large polka dot embossing folder. All that's left to do now is to layer up these mats. So again, I'm using Tombow on the back of the white mat. And we'll layer that onto the daffodil mat. More glue on the back of that one. And we can position that on the front of our box. There we go. And then finally, I've already put dimensionals on the reverse of the flower. And we can put that in the centre. And then all I need to do is trim the ribbon. And it's complete. So there's my 2 boxes. Thank you for joining me today. Goodbye.